silver hair as pale as the light of the moon, eyes as noble as a cat and clear like the sky. The female protagonist recognizes this character. It's in a novel she has been obsessed with called The Beloved Santa. The character is Liz Agnes. Although she was a villain, she was more fierce and desired than anyone, and so her favorite. Our protagonist possesses the body of one of the characters in the novels. Her name is Rachel Agnes. Our protagonist is bursting with joy as this means she gets to see her favorite character Liz Agnes. But she recalls Liz as the illegitimate daughter of the Duke, so she lived as a commoner. But when her sister Rachel Agnes died young, the one whose body our protagonist possesses now due to luxury and pleasure, their family changed the way they treated her, and she suffered all kinds of humiliation at the hands of her family, leading to her soul becoming dark by the time. Liz was actually a little girl who knew nothing. She then explains to us why she prefers Villainess over the protagonist of the novel. It was because Liz was hot and pretty. Later she awakens her magic and crushes those who bullied her. But whenever she thinks about Liz's ending, she feels disheartened. She then recalls Liz's last words before dying. She believed love is not so beautiful. Love is desire to exploit, subjugate, and possess without cease. She believed this is how she lived. The mana in her heart got harder. She stated even though she couldn't have the guy she liked, she did her best and she didn't regret anything. But she believed if she knew how to love like him, her ending would be different. Liz then stated she didn't choose to live like this, but she chose to die by her own will. Our protagonist sobs as she recalls her words that her ending would have been different if she loved like him. She believes that even though Liz said she didn't regret anything, the mention of having a different ending meant she felt regret. And now she is determined to make her see a different ending, and the other goal is to live in this world until she becomes an old lady with white hair. Her attention is suddenly diverted when someone knocks on the door and asks for her permission to come. It is the head maid of Agnes who brought her favorite Louis wine. Our protagonist feels blessed that it's nice to be able to recognize all the characters here thanks to the memories that remained. The maid insists that she takes a sip and she will feel better and forget all her problems for a moment. She thinks to herself Agnes will not break down because of her desire towards the emperor, and the person who served as the head maid of Agnes for 10 years managed to make Rachel incompetent through her continuous brainwashing. She even took over the power of this mentally weak body and led to her death. When Rachel lost her parents in an accident, she became the Duchess without even having a chance to overcome the shock. It wasn't surprising that she became a villain under the brainwashing of the maid who kept her close to her for a very long time. She lies to the maid that her head hurts and she doesn't want to see alcohol right now and orders her to put it aside. The maid becomes nervous and agrees that there's no other cure for a headache than a good sleep, and she will be back after she takes a short nap. It is aware that Abigail plans to make her sleep and then act as the actual owner. With a straight face, she tells the maid that she's annoying. Intimidated by her behavior, the maid apologizes and informs she will get her private bath ready right away. She thinks to herself that when Rachel became a duke at the age of only 20, she neglected her work and drank heavily for half a year. But now she has to act smart as she knows there is a lot of work to be done for Liz, and her first priority is to get rid of Abigail, who was the first person to bully Liz. As she steps into the bathroom, she wonders why the bathroom is so luxurious when everything is already in chaos, even though it still looks good. A maid informs her that she is here to help her with her bath and is holding a drink for her. He realizes this is the same drink that Abigail gave Rachel. The maid inquires if she needs anything else, but before she could finish her sentence, she's interrupted hastily by Rachel, who interrogates who ordered her to do this. Nervous and filled with regret, she collapses to the floor, apologizing that she made a terrible mistake and she recently came to the palace. Rachel thinks to herself that she has to start slowly. First, she has to show people that she has changed already. Rachel assures the maid that it's okay and asks for her name. She introduces herself as Anne. She tells her that she did not know about her, so there's no need to apologize, and she just asked because she was curious. The maid then informs her that the head maid told her that the Duchess needed this. She instructs her to hand it to her and convey to the head maid that she has been transferred from here. She wonders why they are trying to make her drink that much, and she believes there is someone else behind it. Rachel expresses her tiredness, but she recalls to not have any special symptom. This makes her believe the medicine isn't good. She then hears noise from outside. She reaches out and asks the maid why it has been noisy since morning. The maid stays quiet, prompting her to ask again. But no response. We then see someone stating that the Duchess has to listen carefully. She gazes towards the man who seems similar to him. She asks if his name is Marcus. He is astonished as to how the Duchess remembers his name and expresses it as an honor for him. She's surprised as to what he said. She then contemplates that if he is indeed Marcus, she was wondering how to find him, but fortunately he came himself. In the novel, Marcus was the former assistant of Duke Agnes, and he later became Liz's right-hand man. She asks him to not make noise outside and rather come inside. She ponders that he's the only person who knows the location of young Liz, the one who brought Liz to the Agnes family. After Rachel's death, she became the Duchess. They share a cup of tea, as Liz questions if it seems like it's been half a year since she last saw him. She reflects that for half a year, Rachel hadn't had a single day when she wasn't drunk. She ponders to herself why should she be embarrassed about it. But considering that she lived her life like this, she feels no shame. She wonders if she has any special abilities, a magician or anything, adding that there's no way Rachel died so young in the novel. She accepts that she has been reading too many novels before asking Marcus what he has to tell her. He gives her a paper and states this is the information he has collected and organized over the years. He tells her she should see it. She questions if that's all he's here for. He states yes. She ponders that even when reading the novel, she found him to be very talented. She expected this from Marcus, who will become the right hand from the beginning. She asks him to explain it briefly and she'll read it later with detail. With an anxious expression, he declares that the farmers have a disaster, and her Duchess soldiers and knights are months behind in paying their salaries, and her high tax rates are causing local presidents to flee the country. Wild animals are coming to the edges of the land, and it's hard for people to leave safely. Many people are sharpening their swords and waiting for an opportunity. Rachel knows the territory was half protected, but she questions, isn't this too much? And how did it get to this point? Marcus is silent for a moment before he questions if she has forgotten that she delegated all authority to the head maid. She has no idea, and he explains the person who now runs House Agnes is not the Duke, but the head maid, and all the documents are with her. This has her filled with worries as she massages her forehead. She tells him if she did that, then she needs to first select people in the mansion and get rid of them. Marcus questions if she's sure. She responds that she already had to ask him a favor regarding something related to the head maid. She takes out a bottle of drink. He questions this and she asks him to not misunderstand, as she didn't bring him here to drink. He questions then why. She tells him this drink was given to her by the maid and she wishes for him to investigate what's in the drink. He slams the table and states there's no way. She replies that she does not know what it is, but there is definitely something in there. He questions how could a person do something so dirty like this. She ponders such words are coming from the person who plotted against her in the future, adding that if he didn't change that way, he couldn't have protected the young Duchess. He tells her to leave Liz to him and he will solve it and come back. She contemplates Marcus' loyalty is not to her. The things to which he gave his heart was his beloved hometown and to the ex-duke. But he's the man who will one day become Liz's right-hand man. She adds she's in good hands, so she'll be fine, and she'll do whatever she can for Liz, for a happy future for her favorite character. Further thinking that she's sure there's a good list of rats, and there's no need to wait any longer. Somewhere else, Rupert Archer Agnes, the deputy commander of the cavalry, questions the knight commander Jael Weaver Agnes, that when will they receive the salary that hasn't been received yet. Jael responds that they asked them to wait a little longer. Rupert questions how long he has to wait. He starts to shout and asks him if he's telling him that only those who receive it should continue receiving it, and those who can't receive it should just lick their fingers and keep waiting. Jael gives him a cold glare, questioning when did he start responding with such arrogance. Rupert wonders that a knight commander who's so drunk that he can't even control himself. How did the Agnes family get to this point? Suddenly a slap is delivered across his face from the knight commander. Rupert tells him to stop and it's enough, but he questions what he is going to do if he doesn't stop. Rupert thinks to himself that there's no hope for this family, but he wonders that if he leaves here, what will happen to the subordinates that rely on him. Suddenly, the person sitting across the table drops his food. He states he can't eat this dirty food. He states that it seems like they have nowhere to go but this place. He adds that a person should do everything in moderation, and asks Rupert to stop this nonsense and leave with them. He responds he'll go with them. The knight commander becomes furious and shouts at everyone, asking if they're crazy. He asks them to stop and warns that if they don't he will. Before someone questions what will he do if they don't stop. Rupert gazes towards the direction where the voice is heard from. Everyone seems astonished. It's Rachel. She again questions the knight commander what is he going to do. Flashback, Rachel is peeking at them behind the wall. She looks at the commander knight and notes that he's the younger cousin of the head maid. She then sees Rupert and sees his opponent is Rupert. She contemplates that Rupert Archer is the unbreakable knight who protected the heroine from countless dangers. He was originally a knight of Agnes. She notices that from the gloomy atmosphere, it seems like that the day he leaves this family is today. She ponders that she can't lose Rupert. He was a great character who later reached the rank of a master, and if she doesn't have him, he'll be an obstacle for Liz's future. In the present, she smirks and questions why they are fighting. The Commander Knight is nervous to have her here. He asks what is she doing here. She replies, is it too strange to see her in her own home? She sits down in a chair and asks them what are they doing. Weren't they going to fight? Rupert questions if he can do it. She tells him of course, and whatever happens, he will not be punished. She swears on it by her name. She ponders he's a nobleman with a sense of honor. The Knight Commander hesitates and asks Her Highness to not joke. Rupert responds that Her Highness isn't joking. He also tells the Commander Knight that it's disrespectful to use a real sword, so he'll use the wood one. The Commander Knight curses at him and states that he will make Rupert regret that choice. As they start the fight, the Commander barges towards him, but Rupert dodges it and attacks back, making the Knight Commander lose the fight. Rupert asks the Knight Commander if he would like to withdraw. He glances over Her Highness and ponders that if she's the Duchess he knows, she will do the same before Rachel announces that Rupert is the Commander Knight from today. This astonishes him. She decides to give him his first order right away. She mentions about some people and he should catch them. He contemplates that at last. He does not know why, but the Duchess has changed. He adds that the important thing is that this long-awaited moment has arrived before accepting Her Highness' order. Somewhere else, the head maid contemplates that heaven helped her as if she hadn't found it by accident. No one would believe her that the current Duchess is addicted to drugs. Due to the impact of losing her parents in an instant, they believe that she fell into depression, because the head maid used drugs to make her look like that. She adds that she is a bit worried about this morning since the Duchess hasn't yet asked for it. Normally the Duchess would have asked for a drink as soon as she woke up. The head maid wonders if she has just broken a pattern she has been following for half a year. She adds that addiction is a disease and it's not something she can overcome with willpower or change in emotional attitude. She questions Anne, the maid, if the Duchess didn't say anything else. Anne responds that her Duchess didn't say anything else other than asking her to inform the head maid that she has received it well. The head maid tells the maid obviously, what else can she say about a medicine? And she states that if the maid follows her orders just like how she has done today, her life will be much easier. Anne hesitantly agrees. The head maid tells her that it's a somewhat evasive answer, but it's because Annie still has no idea about what is going on. But with time she'll know. She states the newbies always do this task, and she'll know that the real power here is before another maid cuts in between and tells the head maiden that the Duchess and Marquis of Lantern have met. The head maid states that Guy is always in the middle of everything. She gets frightened and ponders that if her Duchess had drunk, she should not have met Marquis. The head maid shouts and questions Anne if she really brought the drink to the Duchess. She responds her Duchess told her to give it and leave. She holds her collar and shouts that she should have checked it before hitting her. She falls down and the head maid tells her she's fired and orders her to get out of the duchy. The head maid is worried and ponders she should have taken care of Marquis Lantern before. On the other hand, Rachel orders Rupert that he must not let a single person escape. He responds that he will carry out this order even if it means he has to risk his life. Rachel responds that would be a bit too much. He still replies that he'll do it even if he has to risk his name and honor. She questions why he is putting things at stake, and ponders that royalty in fantasy worlds is too much. She states the last place she checked was a total mess. Even the Order of the Knights was in a chaotic state. The people who should originally hold such positions were degraded or left, and their positions were occupied by close relatives of the head maiden. She states they have to catch them all at once before they get a chance to escape. She ponders that considering the problems Liz had with her head maid, Liz will enter the dukedom in a year. Due to the difficulties that arose at that time, Liz becomes a wonderful villain. She notes that as long as she is alive, she will not let that happen. She will make sure Liz walks on a bed of roses. She then orders to catch her, the person behind all the problems, the head maid. The head maid hastily reaches for Rachel, her expressions filled with nervousness. She inquires what happened in her office while she was absent. The maid replies she was cleaning. She then instructs Anne to come near. She asks the maid, Abigail, if she really likes the position of the head maid, the power, and these riches. She replies that among the original items, they have only selected those to give it to her. Rachel asks if all of those are hers. She then appreciates Abigail for her hard work during all this time. Abigail is then grabbed by one of her men. She debates why the Duchess is doing this to her, and she does not deserve to be treated like this. She reminds her that she has been loyal to the Duke for years and now she is treating her like a sinner. Rachel simply replies that she will find out during the investigation. Next she calls for Anne. She lets her know that she needs her to help her for a while. She instructs her that the new alcohol should be put in a new bottle, and emphasizes the most important thing to do after sending Abigail to jail is to bring back the people who had been degraded. She instructs her. The first one to be brought are the butler and the head maid. Abigail, the head of cleaning, was promoted to head maid and immediately started working on the front lines. Everything related to the mansion was in her hands, managing the staff, preparing dinner, taking inventory of groceries and supplies. Taxes have doubled in half a year. Prices have skyrocketed and many traders withdrew their business from the duchy due to tax fears. The streets are filled with unemployed and homeless people. Crime is more prevalent than ever. Rachel cannot wait for Marcus to return as she does not have enough hands to work without an assistant. But she had no choice but to send him to investigate Abigail Pills. She finds herself in a very weird situation. Rachel, who was supposed to be dead, is alive and well after she was possessed by her. That's when Anne comes and informs her that the leader of the Knights has returned. She goes out to meet him. She sees he has returned with a dozen boxes. She appreciates that he has been dealing with this matter for half a year and is impressed. He informs her that this is only a part. She is confused as to what that even means. He clarifies that he only brought what he could find. Anne questions how much does all of this cost but is stopped by Her Highness. She responds that it's even more peculiar if he has no hidden assets. Even if he steals from Count Weaver's family, it'll help secure the finances. The mansion and land of Count Weaver can only be affected after a subsequent trial and a guilty verdict. But it's not the time for that yet. Rachel asks the leader of Knights if Abigail has said anything. He responds with a no. He replies that although the interrogation is intense, the head maid is very resilient. Her Highness states that she's holding on to life. If she talks, her whole family will be executed. Rupert is furious and states that embezzlement alone is a huge problem. But how dare she touch Her Highness's food? That's something that'll never be forgiven. She questions if that's all he has brought today. He hands over the documentation for the house. She is surprised and questions if they bought a villa in the capital. She also asks who has bought this. He responds it's Tail Weaver. She responds it seems like she'll have to take a look at his salary. She gazes towards the commander of the knight and contemplates that he's an indomitable knight, and as brave and stubborn as a bear. She states he must have gathered a lot of things, and he blushes. She mentions he must have suffered so much because of her, but he states that's impossible. She states she's sure he has, and declares that all the people in the territory, how they must have suffered at the hands of a lord who shirked his responsibilities. She adds it cannot be described in words. He says even if it's the case, it'll be different in future, and she agrees. He states he's willing to sacrifice his body for Her Highness and the happiness of his loved ones. Someone interrupts in between. She looks behind. It's Marcus. She states he's later than she had thought. He suddenly claims that Her Highness must be examined right away. Right then, someone states he thinks this is more or less finished, and asks Her Highness to leave the rest to others and return. It's Dante Gerald, family assistant of the Lexerville family. Among the barbarians in the country, there were people capable of dealing with chaos. The leader's name is Texas. He led his tribe to fight against the tyranny of the Empire. He fought tirelessly, but he was a moth in front of the Grand Duke Lexerville. Nothing can invade the Castor Empire. Dante Gerald then informs him they have new information about the Duke of Agnes. He reminds him of the troubles that arose in the Agnes family 6 months ago after the death of the Lord and Lady in what was called an accident. The black-haired guy replies, wasn't there a rumor that the head of the family abandoned external activities and drank every day? He also tells him that there are plenty of hopeful with their eyes on Agnes. He inquires if they have taken him yet. Dante informs him that it appears that the Duchess has to come to her senses as she is cleaning the mess up inside and out. The black-haired man is surprised that she has come to her senses, a woman who used to hide behind her parents when she saw him. He further adds that he is aware the rumors surrounding her are strange, but he believes she cannot be so weak as to lead a duchy, further adding that when such a person becomes the head of the family, the ship sinks. He calls it a dysfunctional family. He's Theo, a person who eliminated an enemy he had been fighting for a year in just 1 week. He's a problem solver and there's something uncomfortable about him. Someone who has a creepy existence. Dante wonders if the perception of an insignificant prey would have any effect on him, as he is just a predator who captures his prey. Agnes's family doctor examines Rachel's hand. He states it's just regular alcohol. She questions him what exactly was in the alcohol. He asks Her Highness if she has heard of Piru grass. She responds she hasn't and questions about Piru grass. He mentions it is known as a poisonous weed. It has a great effect on the body. It's also a poison that kills a person and prevents him from being reincarnated. He questions if she drank it. He further tells her Baron Linton said that it appears Her Highness has been taking it for at least 6 months. He states that even experienced doctors and priests could not recognize the symptoms of pirate herb poisoning. This is because the symptoms are not very different from those of an alcoholic. If there is only one difference, it would be that if her duchess continued to take it for more than half a year, she would no longer be able to pronounce even a single word properly, unlike the current duchess. He also mentions that this is a poison controlled by the imperial family alone, and if he didn't know about this poison before, he probably would not have noticed it either. She questions, what does that mean? He says being under the control of the imperial family alone, it is something that cannot be obtained with money alone. She mentions she needs to know how she took it, but first she questions how she can eat something like this but still be completely safe. The doctor states that as far as he knows, there are only 2 cases of people becoming well after ingesting this terrible poison. She questions only 2. He responds that the addicted person may be a saint who receives protection from God, or he is just a magician who has awakened a very special power. Throughout history, there has only been one magician who has been able to awaken that ability. It is a unique ability that is not acquired through training but is only awakened by selected people. People in this world have a 1 in a million chance of finding someone born with a special ability. He states the bearer was called the magician. It is said that magic has properties. She ponders Liz was characterized by the theme of water. She states she doesn't even have that special ability, yet she cannot feel anything. He states that since they have not much information about the poison, they will check details regularly and monitor developments. She expresses her gratitude towards him for coming so quickly. He replies he's just glad that the purpose of his existence is not over yet. She contemplates that even though he devoted half his life to the Agnes family, he was kicked out without knowing why. The palace was like a home to him. She expresses how she misses him and hates being away from him. She tells him to go and take a rest since it must have been hard for him to come here, and she will call him back later if there's anything she needs. He agrees and tells her to contact him at any time she is in need of him. Annie asks Her Highness if she can come in for a moment. She lets her in and questions what is wrong. Annie replies that she's here to give the mail addressed to the Duchess and states she only chose the important ones. One of them has a red cover which indicates it's a message from the imperial family. Meanwhile, in the dungeon, Duchy of Agnes, the ex-commander knight blames his brother's wife for being locked up and tells her if she had not done anything stupid, they would not have been locked up in here. The head maid replies, taunting who is the person who pursued her because he liked it. The other person in the dungeon states that he will not receive the death penalty because he is a noble. He states that when the trial begins, clear evidence will be needed since many people do not know about this drug, so it's okay to get rid of it. Head maid questions how is the Duchess still okay, since she has been using this poison for half a year already. Rupert opens the locker and states that it is Her Highness' order and they can get out. She becomes happy, stating that she knew it would turn out like this, and Her Highness also believes in her loyalty. He questions her and tells her how funny she is talking about royalty when she probably won't even be able to see sunlight again for a long time. He ponders that by order of Her Highness, they will be placed discreetly in a place where even a rat cannot easily reach it. On the other hand, Rachel is reading the letter and it's from Theophenrixville. The Duchy of Pexerville has been characterized by fire mages for generation. Although these are characteristics acquired by the magician and not hereditary, the princes have managed to awaken fire magic in a mysterious way. Instead of awakening it from generation to generation, they all spent their lives wandering the battlefield, thirsty for blood. Some even has called this a bloodthirst. She has been invited to attend the Imperial Triumph Commemoration Ball, Pexerville. She states that Duke Hyundai only appears in the tragic news of the hero's death immediately after his ascension to the throne. She mentions she didn't even appear in the webtoon, and questions it doesn't matter if she does not go, right? Marquis tells her that she already knows there is no better opportunity than the imperial ceremony to announce the revival of the Agnes family. He questions if she is worried about Duke Rixerville, and answers as long as she does not get too close to him, she will be fine. She thinks it's because she knows his ending, so looking at him would make her really uncomfortable. The current emperor, Giorgio von Castor, he was the hero's uncle, and later he was punished by the male hero. She states it is said that pirate herb is managed by the imperial family. She heads down and expresses she's losing her strength. She asks if Marcus has nothing to tell her. He looks at her confused, and she then thinks about Liz Agnes. Marcus wonders to himself that it is the first time he is seeing Her Highness so poised and self-assured. He bets Rachel knows where Liz is. He wonders why all of a sudden she's looking for her estranged sister. He tells her if that's what she means, then he thinks it's respecting the former Duke's legacy. He then asks her to promise one thing, and that is to wait until they reach safety. She is overjoyed as she expresses how much she loves this job. He's perplexed and wonders what the hell is she thinking about, and does she really have a pure heart? He believes if her sister is an ordinary person or even a regular noble, she will be illegitimate, so they are always kept outside the family. In severe cases they are even left to die. Rachel then inquires what happened to the official document delivery requests. In the last half year, Duchess taxes increased significantly. That's why people's livelihoods were completely disrupted, and an official announcement was made about tax exemptions for the next quarter. There was also an announcement of the tax rate returning once again. Marcus then informs her most of the land is glossy, and they also use the method of employing people to spread the story. It's only a matter of time before it spreads throughout the region. Rachel thinks to herself, writing is exclusive to the wealthy. Unless you were from the middle class, you probably did not have the time or money to learn how to read. And she considers creating an academy leader. She is determined to make the land where Liz will live richer and more suitable for living than anywhere, as she cannot bear for her to even suffer a single injury or without hurting a finger or her heart. But to do that, she and Agnes must become strong in any way so that no one is capable of ignoring them. She wishes Liz happiness in this life. She believes the first step to do that is money. She must have abundant wealth. She plans to secretly sell the confiscated items from the head maid so she can get a fair price, and she believes there's no reason to announce that she was deceived by the head maid. If she sells everything, they will be able to secure a small budget at least for the operation. She recalls how they say even if a rich person goes bankrupt, it lasts for at least 3 generations, and thinks about the current Duke's family conditions. She then finishes her work and informs Marcus that she has almost finished what she had to do. Marcus checks it and tells her that she really succeeded. He radiates with joy and plans to go out to celebrate her success. Marcus inquires where she's planning to go. She informs him that she must go check out the duchy herself. Nervous expression is apparent on his face as he advises her not to go abroad, but she makes puppy eyes. He tries to turn blind eye to it but fails miserably and ends up agreeing that it will be a good experience for her to go by herself. She's excited to visit the streets of the duchy. When she gets on the carriage, she is surprised because she's never seen a luxurious and comfortable carriage. To her, it feels like paradise compared to a regular carriage. But the very moment the vehicle starts moving, she is immediately subjected to bumps because of the bad road conditions, leading her to commit to herself that when she has the money, she will start repairing the roads. She has arrived at the streets of Duchy. She thinks to herself she is just an ordinary girl from the middle class pretending to be an aristocrat. She believes the market inside the duchy is the best place to learn more about financial situations. She smells the occasional sour smell and notices the irregular shape of the products and realizes that things are not of high quality. She leads to the conclusion that it's because of the withdrawal of major traders due to high tax rates, and because of this there is a shortage of supply. She's aware the situation is completely miserable, and the economy of the common people is in the ruins. She realizes there's really a lot to do. An older girl and her brother are selling flowers. The younger brother earnestly implores everyone to consider purchasing flowers from his older sister, but when he realizes no one has bought a single flower, he calls everyone bad. His elder sister educates him that everyone is struggling to make a living, so he shouldn't be like that. Rachel steps in and tells them that she will buy all those flowers and asks how much for the whole set. She tells her she will give her the flowers for just 3 silver pieces, even though the original price is 5 silver pieces, but she plans to give a discount since she plans to buy in bulk. She lets out an angelic smile and tells her that the flowers look beautiful. The little boy believes that an angel came and bought all their flowers. She thinks to herself that she approached them because she thought she and her younger brother looked beautiful and kind together, and she just wants to live like that with Liz. She then gives the flowers to Anne and Rupert. Rupert is happy because this is the first time he received flowers as a gift and thanks her. Rachel comments that doesn't he have a girlfriend? He denies and states that he doesn't have enough time for that. Anne laughs and says she has the same situation. Rachel smirks and considers giving them a break when the duchy is in a better condition. 2 people pass by engaged in the conversation about the current duchess and wonder what in heaven is she doing. They reminisce that this did not happen during the previous duke's time, and when they think about the taxes that they owe this quarter, they want to get rid of them and escape. Anne intervenes and reveals to them that the duchess will exempt them from paying taxes this quarter. They inquire from her what does that mean. Rachel is shocked when it is revealed in front of her that the newly elected tax collectors are going from house to house collecting taxes. She then notices 3 knights pressuring a woman to pay taxes, and her little sister is pleading with them to leave her sister alone. Rachel is flabbergasted as she witnesses this scene. The Duchess tells Sir Robert that she hasn't yet hired a new tax collector. He replies yes, he is aware of that. So she questions him what the hell is going on there. Rachel intervenes and calls out to them. The knight tells her that it seems she is from a wealthy family, but if she interferes with their duty, she must bear the consequences. She wonders to herself that they look like low-class punks and that she has heard the security situation is unstable. But she did not think it would get this big. She blames herself for it. The woman contemplates that she has to be careful and she doesn't want to bother anyone with her problems. She then prompts her sister to leave and pushes one of the knights from behind, shouting for Rachel to not interfere and run away since it's dangerous. Her Highness is surprised and Annie wonders, what should they do? She thinks to herself that they say that in times of crisis the true self of the person appears. The knight calls out to her, stating she does not know how cruel the world is, does she? This makes Rupert furious, but she asks not to kill him yet as she does not wish to see anything ugly. He replies as she commands and runs towards the knights, attacking them. Her Highness asks the woman if she's okay and she responds that yes, she is okay. The knight shouts that aren't they afraid of the Duchess, and if they are, how dare they touch the body of her self-appointed tax collector. One of them even claimed that the Duchess will not leave them alone, but if they kneel down and apologize now, he might change his mind. She states that why don't they leave her name alone, and listening to them is really funny. Annie joins in and asks everyone to stop being rude and show their respect to Duchess Agnes now. Her Highness ponders to herself that Annie, being one of her younger slaves, has enough qualities to play her part. The knights are astonished and shocked. One of them points towards Her Highness and questions if she is really the Duchess Agnes. Her Highness says that there are people she has no relationship with and they use her name, questioning what punishment do they deserve in this case. Robert replies, of course they deserve execution. They kneel down begging for mercy and forgiveness. Her Highness announces that everyone will be exempt from taxes during this quarter and Hare certainly published an official document, so if a problem like this arises again, no one will hesitate to let her know. She asks the woman what is her name and she replies that her name is Bella. Bella thanks her for saving her life and states she has no idea how to repay Her Highness' kindness. Her Highness asks her if she would like to come with her. This leaves Bella surprised and Her Highness states that she chose her. Bella will be her favorite bridesmaid. She returns back to the imperial house, stating it's a very special day today. After a day, she tells Marcus that official documents were not delivered properly, and thieves are spread throughout the region. She questions him if he is still not going to tell her where her sister is. She wonders to herself that she cannot believe he still does not trust her. She says that would be ideal and he questions it. She states that she is done with all these documents, so her duchy will have no problem checking them. She tells him that now it is his turn to keep his promise. He agrees to keep his promise. The day has finally arrived when she will be able to see her favorite character Liz. Marcus ponders to himself that he thought it would take her at least a month to organize everything, and he did not even spend money on it. He adds that it is amazing and if she is the Duchess, from now on, he will be loyal to her. He thinks that she was only working hard because she wanted to see Liz. Annie questions that Her Highness must be very nervous right now. She states that Anne is right and she will see one of her family members. Annie ponders that her family died and left her alone all this time and she feels very jealous of the Duchess. They arrive and Her Highness is confused as to how she should welcome Liz. She states that first impressions are very important. Marcus asks her if she would like him to come in first. She does both of them to go with her and right then someone bumps into her and they fall. Some people state that they do not need this instant insect and she is slow-paced. Her Highness takes a good look at her and questions in her mind if that's Liz. Flashback: it is stated that humans are truly sensitive and loving. The way they love their lives is represented by their ability to achieve their various desires. All those desires can be trivial or cute. She ponders why are human desires always represented by something nice? Why don't they wish for something ugly and disgusting and get everything easily? She states that she can really get that warm affection that she never got before. She has never felt like that in her life, with that feeling of peace. In the present, the girl touches Her Highness' hair and states that their hair is very similar. She then takes her hand back and Her Highness replies that it's okay and she can feel free to touch her hair. Rachel states that yes, she has silver hair just like her. The girl tells her, but her hands are dirty. Rachel tells her that no, her hands are not dirty. And something else is dirty as she gazes towards the woman who is spouting nonsense. The woman warns the girl to never creep into her house again, and she will never let her in again. The woman then questions Her Highness, "Who is she?" And she responds that she is this little girl's sister. 8 years ago, during a spring night when the flowers were in full bloom, a girl was abandoned in front of her house with a letter. In the letter it was stated that she will regularly send her money that is difficult for and hard to earn even if she works for months, if in return she takes care of the baby. The woman ponders to herself that she thought Liz was the illegitimate daughter of a wealthy family, but it seems that she is not just an ordinary child from a rich family. Before being sure this girl is not an ordinary person, she thinks that if she plays her cards right, she can get some money. Rachel tells her that she was planning to thank her for taking care of Liz all these years, while the woman continues to think that although she does not know anything, she thinks that Rachel must be from a richer family, adding that it's clear since she's accompanied by the knights. Rachel states that she does not think she is going to give her any reward anymore. The woman asks her to slow down and questions if she is really Liz's older sister. She tries to excuse her behavior by stating that she did that because Liz keeps getting into trouble. Rachel asks her to shut up, and she does not wish to hear a word from her. Rachel questions Marcus that why didn't he tell her about this clearly. She says that he claimed before that child support was constantly paid. He replies, "Yes, that is right after His Highness' death. He was the one who would send money himself, but for a couple of months he was busy, so he could not send money during those 2 months. But it can be seen that she has not been abused for only 2 months. Anyone can tell that but just by looking at her." Robert asks Her Highness to give him the order. Rachel asks Liz if she would like to come with her. She questions if Rachel is indeed her big sister, and Rachel replies, yes, she should check it out for herself. Their hairs are the same colors, and not only their hairs, but even their eyes are similar. She states that the warm feeling of affection Liz has been longing for, she will give it to her with open arms, and feelings of reassurance and peace that Liz has never felt before, she will make sure she will feel it too. Liz questions if she is a strange kid. Rachel replies of course not, and tells her that she can come with her if she wishes to. Rachel extends her hand towards Liz. Liz, after a bit of thought, holds it, prompting Rachel to ask, so shall they go home now? Liz agrees to go home. As they go towards the carriage, Her Highness orders Robert to take care of the woman. While on their journey, Rachel stares at her, wondering that she is very delicate and small. She knows that, obviously in flashbacks from the novels, she had a life normal like the other people. But what she saw today, she cannot call an ordinary life. Rather, it was a terrifying life. Rachel ponders that Liz stopped her when she wanted to give up everything, and Liz is the driving force of her life. Her very existence is like a medical to Rachel. She further adds, but she was in a world Rachel did not know. She questions what kind of life Liz have lived, and what has she been through so far. Liz gazes towards Rachel and she assures her that it will be fine from now on. Rachel thinks that when they say they feel full just by looking at them, it's a phrase used in times like these. Liz is eating as Rachel looks at her joyfully. There are several types of tableware presented on the noble's table. The utensils used vary depending on the type of food. They can be used for a variety of purposes. Rachel thinks that Liz does not know how to use the utensils yet. She is glad she asked for the simplest ones. There are some items that nobles share. For example, Rachel carefully kept ink pans, clothes, and even her favorite dolls that she used when she was young. And of course, the noble Argus family kept Rachel's belongings. Rachel gave Liz the clothes she used to wear when she was little. Soon she will make lots of beautiful clothes that suit her perfectly. Her Highness asks for someone to come in. It is Bella. Her Highness commands her that she will have to take care of this child well in the future because she will be the owner. Bella meets her and shares that she is delighted to meet her, and from now on, she should not hesitate to call her Bella. Liz seems a bit sad, but Rachel assures her that perhaps it is still unfamiliar to her, but she will get used to it soon. She asks if Liz would like to come with her for a moment. She shows them gifts and states they are all welcoming gifts from her side. She thanks Liz for coming to her. Liz starts to cry and Rachel questions if it is because she came too late for her. Rachel states that it was very painful during that time. She did not want to make excuses for Abigail's cruel treatment towards her, but because it hurts her a lot since she couldn't go get Liz, considering the original owner of this body who died without even knowing about her sister. According to the original story, it was supposed to be like this. The truth is that it pains her a lot. She ended up telling a white lie. Later, Rachel shows Liz her room, and she is astonished. Rachel questions if she liked it, and she responds with a yes. Rachel is glad that Liz seems to like it, and she states that if Liz needs anything, please let her know, and at any time. Liz states that this was the first time she ate cake and she did not know there was something so delicious in this world. She states that she really enjoyed it, kind words, beautiful clothes, and delicious food. Rachel was the one who made her experience all that for the first time. Rachel holds her and questions. How can she be so gentle and beautiful? Someone questioned Rachel earlier, why is she so nice to Liz? And she states she has no idea what type of child Liz is. Our protagonist's original name is Park Yi. She lived in Korea in the 21st century. She was a promising actress, but no matter how bright a star is, its life will eventually come to an end. Celebrities' lives are subject to the same fate, and she realized that better than others. She has received a lot of love since her debut when she was young, but the consecutive failures of her work turned her into a laughingstock. The feeling of defeat after losing all the love and attention she received abundantly was something she could not deal with. She turned her eyes away, as if she were escaping from reality, and that's where she met her. She read the novel, and it was stated that being polite and trying to save face means you're not serious. Liz in the novel had stated to not cast their shadows even in front of His Majesty, if they don't wish to disappear without even being noticed by a rat or a bird. Back in the present, she tells Liz that she has no idea, but she's a star to Rachel. Unlike her, Liz was strong, as she freed herself from people's judgments. Life has no meaning until one loves it, and even though one knew all she efforts would fail, even though she was on the verge of collapsing, she were there to encourage Rachel, and so she endured the long loneliness. She hugs her and states the one would give meaning to her life is the child who shines the most in front of her, and so this is now her turn. She will accompany Liz on her long journey. It's been a week since Liz has arrived. Although life in the duchy was strange and uncomfortable for her, it looked a little brighter when she saw her. She believes the effort she put into Bella was worth it. She wants to stay with Liz, but she has to prove to Reika's society that Agnes is still alive, so she has to attend the Grand Duke of Lexerville's Victoria party. She thinks she just met Liz, so it weighs on her to think that she will leave her alone for so long. But she is determined to come back from the party as soon as she shows her face. She suddenly hears Liz calling for her. She tilts her head to look at her. She bids her farewell. Rachel lets out a genuine and lovely smile. That's when the news of her arrival at the party is announced. All heads are turned in her direction as she makes her entry. She knows everyone here was expecting her to enter like a beggar, so she deliberately took care of everything. She then meets some blonde-haired girl and reminds her that it's been a long time since she has seen her. She smiles and says she supposes she should call her Duchess now. Rachel remembers her as the innocent beauty Carolina Harrisman. She expelled the crown prince under the current emperor, and thus she managed to move from a Marquess family to Duke. When the original work begins, it's a family that will disappear from history along with the current emperor. Rachel thinks to herself it's not necessary to be close to them, as she will enjoy the power for another 10 years. So there's no reason to be despised. She complains that, as always, her father says to continue without bending her heart. She says she cannot oppose her father's decision. Rachel thinks to herself about the story of Carolina, the belle of society, and her unrequited love, which was quite famous. It even stuck in Rachel's memory, who wasn't very sociable. She considers it a bit embarrassing if she thinks about it, because that kind of person wasn't suitable for someone like her. And she is sure the Duke of Harrisman knows it too. Tears in Carolina's eyes as she explains that she is sure her father said that because he's thinking of her not yet. Carolina believes she cannot give up on her feelings for him. Rachel thinks about how Caroline was always delighted by love stories that could not come to fruition. But strangely enough, it worked out well. Men were eager to protect Caroline and women sympathized with her situation. She believes she must control herself, avoiding the influence of the other young ladies. For her, who used to work in the entertainment industry, it's a bit dull and it's not fun at all. That's when the announcement is being made that His Majesty the Emperor is entering, and the Duke of Ledgerville is entering. Rachel looks at the current Emperor Georgo Van Castor and then the Duke of Lexerville. Rachel is stunned by his look. From Rachel's memory, she knew that he was handsome, but not to this extent. She wonders if he's from the same world, and she cannot believe those terrible rumors about him. She forces herself to wake up. She reminds herself that she's supposed to stand in front of the Emperor, but she doesn't want to get distracted by looking at his face. Rachel thinks to herself that Miss Harrisman should go first, as it's in chronological order, and after that she will be next. She convinces herself that she must not look at the Grand Duke. A guy approaches her and from her expression does not seem very pleased. He asks her if she's the Duchess of Agnes and inquires how she has been. So she believes it is not a good idea to get involved, so she decides to not mix with them. As she turns to make her way to meet His Majesty, the woman behind him makes a comment about how she has never been formally introduced to His Majesty before, and she starts to wonder about the possibility of making a mistake during the meeting. She tells Rachel that first they will greet His Majesty, so she should observe carefully and take note. Rachel laughs and says that she has nothing to learn from someone who doesn't even know the hierarchy. They both are left speechless at her response. She then formally greets the Emperor and introduces herself. She also congratulates the Grand Duke on his victory, but he does not respond and just keeps gazing at her. She thinks to herself, this man feels dangerous in so many ways. The Emperor then inquires from her if she's feeling okay after what happened to her parents, and lets her know he was really surprised. She apologizes for making the Emperor worry, and assures him that as a new duchess, she will fulfill her responsibilities and duties. He replies that the answer makes him feel a little relieved. Rachel thinks to herself, if he just worries. The Emperor who betrayed his nephew and usurped the throne, and the bloody Duke. He reminds herself that she doesn't want to get involved with them, so it's better to step back now. As she's leaving, she accidentally bumps into the Duke. She recalls the words of Marcus, who warned her to not touch the body of the Duke of Lexerville, or she will lose her neck or she might disappear somewhere. Before we continue, like, comment, and subscribe for part 2 and to not miss out on any content. The Grand Duke employed a mysterious dark spell that caused everyone in the party to lose consciousness, leaving Rachel as the sole witness. In that moment, she couldn't help but think about how she just misses Liz. She thinks to herself, most importantly, her limbs are fine. She then questions the Duke if he did that to everyone. He remains silent. He then approaches the Marquis of Cavendish and asks him how dare he exploit him in his corruption. Rachel stands there motionlessly with her jaw dropped. She thinks to herself that what the rumors were saying is true. He then diverts his attention towards Rachel and gazes at her. That's when one of his men comes and he tells him that he will be back now. Rachel wonders why he was looking at her like that. She then thinks she truly misses Liz. Back in the imperial house, Liz wakes up from her sleep. She feels bad about what happened, but wonders if what she saw in her dream was real or just a dream. But her mind diverts as she feels blessed to have a comfortable room with warm sunlight, comfortable and soft mattresses, and feels good that the room is very quiet. She likes to get these good things that she never had in her life before and wishes to stay here. Bella is defending her to the other maids and demands an instant apology for what they said. A maid replies that she did not say anything wrong and claims that Liz is an illegitimate child. Bella gets furious and tells them if the Duke really did not care about her, he would not have appointed another maid to serve her and let her be with maids like her who don't know anything about etiquette. The maids throw a basket at her and warn her that she has to know her place and why does she talk so confidently. Before Bella could reply, Liz gently grabs her dress. Bella whispers impossible under her breath as she sees it's Rachel because she feels ashamed that she had to listen to this conversation. She apologizes to Liz that she's not good enough, but Liz informs her that she's really happy to have her by her side. This makes her tear up. Liz also inquires if she's okay. Bella assures her that she is okay. She has been in situations like this before. Bella asks the same question from Liz, who also tells her that she has encountered this situation before. Bella then asks if they should go and she will make her bed for her, but she debates that she will make her own bed. As she steps into her room, she casts one final glance behind her, her eyes gleaming with brightness, yet devoid of any discernible emotions. Meanwhile, Rachel reclines in the chair, basking in comfort, while Anne showers her with compliments about her beauty. She recalls what happened last night at the party and wonders if she's really alive. She reminisces about the Grand Duke confronting Marquis of Cavendish, and questions how dare he exploit him in his corruption. She wonders how did he know that he tried to take advantage of him. She thought he wouldn't know anything about it because he didn't show up most of the time. She then recalls how Marcus and his wife looked miserable because of what had happened. She also thinks, how could the Grand Duke do that in front of the Emperor, and then leave like that, as if nothing had happened? She's really confused how he did that in front of all these people without any hesitation. She believes this person should not be involved with anyone, and notices how exhausted she looks. She recommends that since she's in the capital, why doesn't she go shopping? And that they can go buy some things on the main street and get a gift for her sister, and she is sure she will like it. She considers buying a gift for her sister. The next moment, she is in the market buying gifts for her sister. She's already bought a lot of things and wants to buy more for Liz. Anne thinks that's a lot. That's when Caroline approaches her and expresses her surprise at seeing her here. Rachel notices many servants with her and wonders if all of them serve her and guesses she seems to like assigning servants a lot. She plans to leave but is stopped by Caroline, who tells her it's been a long time since she met a friend and she's so happy that she was able to meet her, so it's too sad to say goodbye now. She doesn't object but finds it so stressful. Caroline then offers her to join them as she's having a party in one of the houses here and she really hopes that the Duchess comes. Rachel stands there in silence, contemplating what to reply.